Thank you for joining us for another episode of Sheridan County Ag Update. Today, I have joining Chris Sorensen and Kurt Russell. They are the swine superintendents for the Sheridan County 4-H program. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Anytime.
So let's talk a little bit about this big swine project that we have here in Sheridan County, because I do believe it is the largest 4-H project.
It's by far the largest 4-H project. I've been involved with it for, I don't remember now, 5 years, I think. Kurt's kind of new on the superintendent side of things, but we look forward to having him around. His kids have been showing for 3 years now, I think.
Yep, we got one. My oldest this will be her 5th year, and my middle is her 3rd year doing it.
So it's growing into a big project. When I took over, we had 60-something pigs in the shows. Currently, last year we had 160 pigs registered for county fair, and it's become a big deal. I think overall the pigs in the whole show industry have really grown. So
yeah, definitely.
Why do you guys think that is? Is it seems to me like it's kind of a great beginner project, just
Absolutely.
Because there's not as much equipment is involved, like with fitting chutes with steers and with sheep and goats, and so it seems like, I mean, there's still some expense, but maybe not as much equipment is involved.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. When I talk to parents and they're talking to me or whatever about getting into 4-H, and they talking about taking the big animals and where they want to go with it, and sometimes I'm like, well, maybe let's step back just a little bit. You can show them later on if you want, but here's an easy project to get started with to make sure the kids are wanting to stay involved in 4-H without getting overwhelmed. And I think that's part of the success, is that the pigs are easier to work with, and I think the kids they're not so intimidating as an 8-year-old kid trying to walk a 1,800-pound steer around the ring and worry about him blowing up or.
Yeah, and with the swine, they're kind of like a dog, really. They're smart. They become like little friends to you, and they're kind of funny to watch. Some of them have quite the personality, and I think you can relate to that to all the projects. So, but yeah, they're just fun.
Yep, I enjoy them. I like being around them. I like watching the kids grow with them. And the amazing thing with them also is you can watch that pig grow overnight. I mean, it's not like a steer. You got that steer in October, you got to raise him all the way through August. I mean, you got him for almost a year.
It's a very long-term project.
It's a long-term project.
Yeah.
These pigs, most kids are getting them here in April, end of March, first part of April-ish, even towards the end of April, and they're gone in August. So I think as far as the term and what the kids have to put into them, it's less time-consuming as far as timeline goes.
Well, and
don't get me wrong, it still takes work to get into them, but it's not that long-term project that seems to drag on forever.
You get to see a quicker return, basically, as far as their growth and that thing. You get to see it quicker than you do with, say, a steer, just because they're a shorter term.
Correct.
Short term.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's a big part of it, is keep the kids involved in it a little better, because they're not out there for 8 months.
Right.
9 months, 10 months, whatever it is for them steers to kind of start losing interest in by the end of it.
Well, and I think it's good you have a lot of kids now who are involved with sports, and sports is a year-long thing now with so many, with not just in school, but the AAU and the traveling. So it sounds like maybe the swine project's a little bit easier for those kids who do so much during the fall and the winter, that, well, now I can move into my 4-H stuff.
A little bit more forgiving.
Yep, definitely.
So your guys' third cohort that you have is Tony Barnes, and his kids are pretty competitive going down the road with the show. So let's talk a little bit about the show, maybe showier type pigs versus your more commercial, and maybe how this evaluation that you're going to have this year plays into some of that.
Yeah, I guess it's the show industry kind of wants a different type of pig than what commercial wants. So it does kind of play it a little bit harder, you know, as far as getting judges for the kids at our county fair, because our county fair that's the end of the line, you know, unless they go on a state fair, they show them for market, and that's what they are. A lot of the shower pigs are, I want to say, a little shorter body framed, a little more stout maybe than what most commercial hogs are. They definitely have a different style that they like. But, you know, all in all, I think the industry's kind of catching up to each other a little bit, but there still is a difference. It's just like, you know, in the other projects, you know, the sheep, the goats, and the beef, they're all the same way. You know, everybody wants a different style for different things, and I guess that's the hard part at fairs. You know, you get these kids that want, you know, they take them pigs to buy them for show and jackpot them all over, and that's awesome. It's you hear people complain of, man, why would you spend that much money on that? Well, that's these kids' sports sometimes, you know. They rather go show and show their livestock off than go run around, play soccer, or track, or football, basketball, whatever their sport is that they're doing all summer. This is what they do, and we've got quite a few of those kids in the community right now in our 4-H program that have traveled to some of the bigger shows, Denver Stock Show, and down in Arizona, and a bunch of these other bigger shows, Black Hill Stock Show and stuff. So I think it's awesome. If that's what they want to do, then go for it. Let's get their start in 4-H and go and see where it takes them. There's it's just an awesome deal.
Now, Kurt, you're not from Sheridan originally. You're an import.
I'm a transplant.
You're a transplant. Your wife transplanted you here. Do you notice Sheridan County seems like a very competitive as far as the livestock goes, and that's across all species, but from where you came from to here, do you see that, or is it kind of comparable?
Well, to be honest with you, I never did 4-H when I was a kid.
Okay.
So this is all new to me.
Okay.
And it's been a learning process. I've been learning with the kids, and it's been fun. But yeah, there is definitely a competitiveness here in Sheridan County, and that's across sports, everything. Very competitive county, and we got a lot of kids that put their heart and soul into this, and it's kind of cool to see. But I think we have probably one of the toughest fairs in the state. Like that judge said last year, we have such a strong set of good quality pigs. It's just cool to see.
Well, and we have some little showmen that I remember last year, the juniors and the intermediate showmen. That was a tough showmanship class. I mean, those kids have worked hard, and I was like, I'm glad I'm not the person judging, because I don't know if I could have picked. I mean, they go out there and beat any one of the seniors, I'll guarantee it. Absolutely. These little kids seem to have more into it than the older kids, and I don't know if it's, you know, some of the older kids are like, all right, I'm about done, I'm kind of tired of showing, whatever, you know. And these little kids that are coming up are wanting to do it. You know, some of them seem like they want to do it for a living, and they're putting the time and the effort into it, and they'll give any one of them seniors a run for their money, I'll guarantee it. You know, so Sheridan County is kind of I would say, cattle, horse industry around here. I mean, that's kind of the prevalent, but something that our 4-H educator, Emily Swinier, and I visited about was how the pigs, the sheep, and the goats have really picked up speed here. And we have a lot of, I'm not just going to say in Sheridan County, but regionally, we have quite a few sales now for those specific species. It's not so much just the cattle. What do you guys think has prompted that? I don't know. I guess my opinion on it is people are seeing that need to help these kids out. And you know, before 3, 4, 5 years ago even, there wasn't that many pigs around. There wasn't that many sheep around. There wasn't that many goats around. And I think the bigger that our program has gotten over the years, more people are getting more and more involved in it and wanting to do it. These kids are starting to breed and breed their own sheep and goats and pigs, and for the purpose of showing these or helping these kids out in
surrounding area.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got Opportunity Genetics, Braden West right here in Sheridan County that started that to help these kids out because there was no pig sales around per se.
When you and I were growing up, no.
You couldn't find anything, and that was a long time ago.
I'm not going to tell anybody how old that was.
But anyways,
it was just a few years ago.
And we've got
Chris.
Terrell Show pigs over in Gillette now, and we've got Cash Chick and CJS Show pigs up in Lodge Grass, and Delphine Graham up in Lodge Grass, and numerous others over in Powell and Lovell, and they're just popping up all over. And I think it's because the people want to see these industries grow, and to be able to get that food from the farm to the table. They want to be able to supply food for people in the community.
The farm to table movement is a huge movement right now.
What Kurt thinks, but that's kind of what I see.
Well, and I think with those projects, their demand for your facilities is a lot smaller than if you're going with a beef. It's just kind of easier. They're good entry projects to go with. So.
Speaking of the housing, I know that the college has I believe they call it the community barn. And I know that last year there was quite a few of the 4-H kids who housed their swine there. Is that still an option that they're doing this year?
That is still an option that they're offering for us, which is great, because I didn't ever know what it was being used for after the rodeo team left out at that particular spot, and when they opened that up last year for the kids to use, I thought that was a great opportunity because a lot of these kids want to try some, but they may not have the availability to keep it at their house or to do something with, and to have that barn there and making it reasonable for the kids to use was pretty nice. I mean, I was fortunate enough to take advantage of that last year and help get the kids set up that needed a place to go. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
Well, I think 4-H and FFA both have changed over the years. It's not just, as we like to refer to, cows and plows, and it's not just the kids that live out of town on the ranches and farms. It's really developed into having a lot of kids involved that live in town, and obviously you cannot have a swine in city limits.
Oh, sure you can.
Well, you could, but Charlotte's Web there. But I think that's maybe why they did offer this opportunity for the kids that want to do it, but maybe don't have the housing. So.
Exactly, and it's a nice little facility, and it works great. It's not too far out of town. It's pretty fairly centrally located, easy to get to, and.
Now, who do they contact? Emily Swinier at the college for that, or whom do they contact?
They could contact Emily to get get the information.
Okay.
I'm actually drawing a blank on the gal's name that's in charge of that right now, but she's an ag teacher out there, so.
Okay, Emily can get
Rebecca
it too.
Atkinson's her
Oh, okay.
name.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's great for kids that if they want to do something like that, they can. It doesn't just have to be right now. I think it'd be full of pigs, but it's available for the sheep, the pigs, the steers, or whatever, if somebody needs it. Steers are a little harder for them to get into because the college actually works some projects in there and has a bunch of steers in there up until about the end of May, but not saying that it can't be done.
There's probably some other locations for kids wanting to do steers.
Yeah.
I might know of one.
Yeah. Contact Liz.
Yeah. We're the home of the wayward children. So there's a new, I don't want to say contest, a new educational piece that's coming up this year that, Chris, you've kind of been the spearhead of this, I know, for a few years, and now you've gotten some of your fellow superintendents involved, but this carcass evaluation. So tell us about that.
Well, I've been trying for about 3 years to get this rolling. We used to do a carcass evaluation with the beef and actually went to the butcher plants and had them evaluated. We had one judge going between 3 different plants, and if your animal wasn't there, it didn't get judged. And so it didn't make a lot. I mean, it made sense, but it didn't make sense. And I wanted to see all the other animals have the same opportunity to be evaluated. So so that these kids know what we're raising and what they should look like, you know, other than what the judge says. You know,
the product that's going out to the
products
people.
that's actually coming out to the people.
Exactly.
You know, so I've been trying to get this ultrasound carcass evaluation going, and we finally got it off and running this year, and I think it's going to be a great learning opportunity for not just the kids but the adults, because I don't know how to read the results. I don't know what they're exactly looking for. They do some different measurements with back fat and loin eyes and weights and age of animal, and there's a lot that goes into it, and I'm going to learn just as much as the kids will, because I have no clue how to read it all or what to do, but it also gives them kids another avenue to possibly get some awards and stuff also.
Yeah.
At the end of it, that maybe they wouldn't have got in the show ring. I've seen it where the grand champion was not the grand champion carcass, you know. So that
Hanging
goes
on
back
the
to
rail.
that goes back to that show pig versus commercial type of deal, you know. These are based off of commercial standards, and that's what we're going to go with as far as our standards for the show or for the evaluation. And I think it's going to be a great learning opportunity for all the kids to know, okay, my pig was too lean this year. What do I need to do to put some more fat on him, or what do I need to do to put more muscle on him for next year? You know, we're here to teach these kids to bring a quality product to the consumer, because at the end that's where they're going. They're going to the table, and we want them to be able to know and see what they're bringing.
Well, and we have such a generous community here in Sheridan County as far as coming to our youth livestock sale. I mean, it's phenomenal every year, but you still want to make sure that these people who are purchasing these animals, and it's not just the swine, but across the board, that they're getting that quality product, so they want to continue to come back. And I think that this is a great way to help those kids to understand that.
Correct. And it's not just for the swine. I'm being the superintendent for the swine. You're probably thinking that. It's not. We're doing it for the beef, the pigs, or the beef, the pigs, the goats, and the sheep. I mean, all the big livestock animals are going to be evaluated. So it's going to give all of those kids a learning opportunity to learn what they're bringing to the table. So
that's a big thing. Is our push for our family is to bring a good quality piece of meat to the buyer. And just with that, the evaluation is going to be another learning tool for us to see what we're doing. We've always asked our buyers on feedback on how the pig tasted, you know. And this is just going to be another tool. So like Justin West says, we're kind of like mad scientists with the feed rations and everything.
For sure.
It's kind of cool. We're really excited. My family and I are for that.
You know, I'm just noticing something. I really should be wearing a Heartline Kubota hat here to just have all three. Yeah, I mean,
Have all three reps.
I do have one at home. So, Kurt, tell us a little bit. If people are wanting to come up to fair this year, what can they expect to see for the swine show? Maybe give them a little idea.
So this year, we're starting off the swine show a little earlier this year.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. We're going to kick that off, and at least try to. Yeah. And we're going to roll through the showmanship first, and then we're going to have an hour break, and then we're going to roll into market. So it's going to be a kind of a bang bang. So if you guys don't have any plans, we'll be there.
So I'm guessing you're probably projecting to have as many swine again this year, if not probably more.
What are our numbers so far?
I don't know what they are so far, but I know we do have 14 14 new kids this year, and we only lost about 6 or 7 last year as far as graduating kids and kids that maybe wanted to try something else. But so we're projecting we're going to be about the same numbers as last year.
Yeah.
I know my numbers that I'm bringing home are pretty close to what I had last year.
So there will be plenty of swine to purchase this year at the youth livestock sale.
Yeah, bacon and sausage.
Oh boy. Show me the bacon, baby.
Yep.
Obviously. Well, is there anything else you guys want to talk about with the swine project that you'd like the public to know?
I just, if you guys get a chance, come up and support these kids during the county fair. Look for the dates in the Country Bounty and follow us. And we've got all kinds of different avenues to get you what you want. But support all these kids and all their projects. They put a lot of time and hard work into it. And thank you to our community that is so supportive of the 4-H and everything that they do around the community.
Yeah.
Special big thanks to Sheridan Media. I'm going to throw that out there for live streaming all of our shows and stuff for us every year. It takes a big commitment from them to be able to put those on so our families can see those.
That is a huge part. I know we've had over the years, we started that with the year of COVID because we didn't know if we were going to be able to have the public at the fair or even have grandparents, things like that. So I know that we've had very high viewership of that, of each show and the sale every year.
Yep. It's huge. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, if that's it, I guess we'll wrap it up. So thanks, gentlemen, for joining us. And check out SheridanMedia.com for more news and podcasts.
Thank you.
Thank you.